Hi everyone, I'm Amelia, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about accessible design. And by accessible design, I don't just mean wheelchair ramps or braille on signs or accessible bathroom stalls or the things you might typically think of. You may have heard of the curb cut effect, which refers to the fact that designs intentionally or originally created to benefit people with disabilities actually often end up benefiting everyone, or a much larger group of people than who it was originally intended for. The curb cut effect gets its name from the dips in sidewalks and the curbs when you cross the street, which were originally intended so that people could cross the street in wheelchairs, but also benefit anyone on a bike or a scooter or pushing a stroller, much larger group of people than it was maybe originally intended for. And curb cuts are not the only thing that this applies to. I'm going to go through 4 examples of things that you probably use often or every day of your life that you probably had no idea were originally intended to help people with disabilities. Number 1. The first thing that comes from disability access that you might not have expected is keyboards, or more specifically, typewriters, which later turned into keyboards. The first typewriter was invented by an Italian inventor named Pellegrino Turri because he noticed that his dear friend, who was a countess at the time, couldn't write letters by hand because she was blind. So he invented the typewriter where she could memorize where letters were on the keys and just press them instead of having to see what she was writing by hand. Number 2, maybe the most surprising one to me, is bendable straws. Bendable straws were actually created to help sick or weak people to drink without having to lift and move their cup. A man named Joseph Friedman created the design in the 1930s, and by the 1940s, the paper bendable straws were used in almost all the hospitals in the US for people that were sick and bedridden. Number 3 is audiobooks, which might not be as surprising, but I think has a really interesting story behind it. Audiobooks were invented in 1932 when the American Foundation for the Blind launched the Talking Book program. The program was aimed to make literature accessible to blind people through recording books onto vinyl records and sending them out to people through the mail. And today, audiobooks are widely popular with everyone, whether you're blind or not. It is estimated by the Audio Publishers Association that audiobook sales in the US alone were $1.8 billion in 2022. The fourth and final invention is vegetable peelers. The modern vegetable peelers with the big cushiony grip handles were designed by a man named Sam Farber, who founded the kitchen brand OXO. You might have heard of them. They have a line called Good Grips that has all kinds of cleaning items, cooking items with those big rubber grips. He was inspired to make those by watching his wife, who had arthritis, struggle to peel vegetables with a traditional skinny handle of a knife. So, if you've ever used a keyboard, a bendy straw, listened to an audiobook, or peeled a vegetable with a peeler, which I assume all of you have benefited from design that was originally intended to make life easier for people with disabilities. Going forward, I hope if any of you design products, work on websites, maybe own a startup, that whatever you are making and putting out into the world, you think about making it accessible to people with disabilities. Thank you for watching.